oceanfront. 2 people were killed and 8 others were injured in 3 separate incidents. And was above those investigations early this morning. 3 people were arrested. Amon Adams, Niquez Baker, and Devin Dorsey Jr. face assault and firearms charges. The initial shooting happened on Atlantic Avenue. Then police say 29-year-old Shayla Harris was shot and killed on 19th Street. 25-year-old Donovan Lynch was shot and killed by police on 20th Street. Less than 3 hours ago, police gave us an update on what they know up to this point in the investigation. We learned a little more about the officer-involved shooting from the police chief. So let's get right to the details now. Team Your Side's Tamara Scott is live in Virginia Beach with those details. Tamara?
Well, Madison, there were a lot of revelations tonight. There were 3 separate incidents here. First, 7 people were shot. Then 2 people were shot, one of them killed. And then finally, a man was shot by police. Now, we are told that there is no suspects at this time for the woman who was shot in that second incident. There's no body cam footage for the police-involved shooting. And although 3 people have been charged in that first shooting, there is no one charged with murder. The first violent incident at the oceanfront last night started at the intersection of Atlantic and 20th.
We now know that started out as a physical fight, an argument into a physical fight that at some point escalated into gunfire.
A Virginia Beach officer was on scene at the time and assisted the Detective Bureau in arresting 3 people for that incident that injured 7 people. 22-year-old Amon Adams, 18-year-old Niquez Baker, and 20-year-old Devin Dorsey Jr. are facing assault and firearm charges. Next was the shooting on 19th Street that killed 29-year-old Shayla Harris and injured another.
There are no material updates at this point. There are no arrests at this time. We do believe that she truly is, at this point in time, an innocent victim that was probably struck by stray gunfire.
And lastly, the police-involved shooting that killed 25-year-old Donovan Lynch. The Commonwealth's Attorney's Office is overseeing the criminal investigation by Virginia Beach Police. They say they don't have a lot of answers.
There was a firearm recovered in the vicinity of where this incident occurred.
Chief Newdigate says there is no evidence at this time that supports Lynch having a gun on him at the time he was shot, or if the gun found belonged to him. And there's no body cam footage.
The officer was wearing a body cam, but for unknown reasons at this point in time, it was not activated.
Now, the officer involved in that shooting will be placed on administrative leave as is standard practice, and all of 3 of these shootings are under investigation. That's the latest here in Virginia Beach. Tamara Scott. Side.
Okay, so there you have the audio clip right there from the news about this shooting that happened in Virginia Beach. And I had said that I was not going to talk about this story until I had faces and names. Because we already know if you jump the gun, you could give out misinformation. And this is exactly why I waited. Because many will say the terms mass shooting and automatically jump to, oh, it was a PC person that did it. Especially since, it's always a historical context behind them being some of the main ones committing mass shootings, especially with what happened recently in Atlanta and in Boulder, Colorado. So now you have what occurred in Virginia Beach. Now, these are the 3 guys right here who they said they identified with the shootings. Now, if you listen to the audio or the news clip, these were separate shootings. Like, these were, from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like they were all connected. Because it sounds like they were connected to one shooting, then there was a separate shooting, and then there was another shooting. And I'm going to try my best to go through all of them. But notice, they said in the audio, in the news clip, that none or no one has been charged with murder, even though 2 people are dead. But they don't, but the thing is, if no one's charged with murder, then can we say that even though a shooting was involved with these 3 guys, no one died with them, but the 2 people that did die, one of them we know for sure was shot by a cop. And his name was Donovan Lynch. And I'm going to see if I can find his picture so I can put it up here. Something is very weird about this. Not saying that these guys weren't involved, because clearly they were. But these separate shootings of the Shayla Harris, who I'm gonna pull her picture up as well, and the Donovan Lynch one leaves something like something just doesn't seem right to me right here. So the first person I'm gonna talk about is the Shayla Harris. This is her right here. They said that she's 29 years old, of Norfolk, Virginia. They said she was on season 17 of that show, The Bad Girls Club. They said she was a bystander at the second shooting incident and she just got hit by a stray bullet. Now, mind you, it said 2 people were killed. It was her and Donovan Lynch, and 8 other people were injured. But the 3 guys that I just had on your screen, none of them were charged with murder. But her and the Donovan Lynch guy, who I'm going to put up after her, were murdered. Now, Donovan Lynch, let me focus on her before I get on to him. It just says the identity of the woman police say was 29-year-old Shayla E. Harris in Norfolk. Police said Harris was a bystander at the second shooting incident that occurred in the 300 block of 19th Street. TMZ later posted, and they confirmed Harris was on season 17 of the show, The Bad Girls Club. So there you have that right there. But like I said, the 3 guys I had up on my screen earlier were not charged with murder. They were just identified as being involved. Okay, so here's Donovan Lynch right here. And this is the one right here, I think, where people had a lot of red flags waved about him. They say police say the decedent of the third event, an officer-involved shooting incident on the 300 block of 20th Street, was 25-year-old Donovan W. Lynch of Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach Police Department said overnight the officers were responding to gunfire, which led them to an individual being confronted by an uniformed Virginia Beach police officer, resulting in a police intervention shooting. Now, in the news clip, it said that when Donovan Lynch was shot and killed by the police did not have their body cameras on. That right there, like, if y'all can see how my face looked on the other side of the screen when they said that, I was like, up, here they go. They said they didn't have their body camera footage on, so we wouldn't know what the confrontation was between the 2 of them. From what I've gathered, apparently he was just an innocent bystander, or he was just walking away, and they just, automatically assumed. And then they said something about a gun, and they weren't sure if the gun was his or whatever. So it's just like they have a bunch of holes in their story. All in all, Donovan Lynch was killed by the police, and he was completely innocent of what was going on. So he just got killed because they thought he was guilty, or they thought he was the one that was involved when he wasn't. So now you have 2 innocent people dead, others who are injured, 3 knuckleheads, and rambunctious police yet again is all involved with this shooting. And it's crazy. All of this happened in one night. All of it happened in one night. But what I've seen from mainstream media, from what I saw earlier, and that's one of the major reasons why I'm talking about this, is you have mainstream media trying to paint the narrative that Donovan Lynch was somehow involved with this. Good thing his family got in front of it and basically had to tell them, like, look, my son had nothing to do with what was going on. They had the 3, and he wasn't one of the 3. He was just walking, minding his business. He probably had no idea what the hell was going on. And they just saw him and they shot him. But they had no body camera on. Are we surprised? So now we won't know what actually happened. So it's going to be their word and only their word, because, dead people don't talk. But yeah, like I said, this story right here is so all over the place. Like I said, no one has been charged with murder, but 2 people are dead. They have identified 3 suspects involved with the shooting, but apparently none of the bullets that they shot were the ones that killed the 2 people. We know who killed him. So this is like one of them up in the air stories where there's so many questions that need answering. I'm gonna try my best to see if I can stay on top of this story, because like I said, it's moving around a lot. Is a lot going on. And here I am, all I wanted to do was find out who was involved with the shooting, or like, you know, who did it, so we can just get right to it like the other ones. But this one right here, it is puzzling to me. And the thing is, I saw this the Shayla picture. I kept seeing her picture online, but I was like, why do I keep seeing it pop up? And then I see it and I was like, oh, okay, now I know why. But I didn't really, you know, I didn't watch Bad Girl Club, so I wouldn't have known who she was. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Because like I said, this thing just seems real puzzling to me. Like something, they're leaving a lot of stuff out, in my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you have not done so already. Make sure that you text the number that is pinned down in the comments below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video or go live.